Om Namah Shivaya. So today I want to discuss with you two key arm balances. One is the rooster, the second is the peacock. Now both these arm balances are dedicated to Lord Murugan. So I'm going to show you how they're interconnected. I'm going to show you how to do them, and we'll discuss some other asanas that come in the way in the story, right? So there are some other asanas that get incorporated into the story, so we'll discuss those as well. So I'm going to show you how to do them first, because last time I went through the story first and then showed you how to do the asanas, but I think a lot of people were not sure which asana we were talking about until I did it, so it's better to show it first and then we get into the story behind the asana. Excellent. So of course we need to have prepared with enough shoulder drills, enough hip mobility drills, because you'll require those for the hips to be open, for the shoulders to be stabilized before you go into this. Once you've done those warm-up drills, then there are three key asanas that are there as preparatory asanas. So the first one is the Tola asana. So in Tola asana, you go into Padma asana, and then you take your weight onto your palms and you swing, right? So the weighing scale. So this starts preparing the shoulders for taking the weight. You then go into Simhasana. So Simhasana is this one. And this is because you counter stretch the spine. You then start by now contracting and flexing the abdominals. And for that you go into Karandavasana. So this is Karandavasana. Once you've got that ready, then you can also open up once more. Make sure that you've given some counter stretches to the ankle so that you're ready for the main pose. And that's, having gone again into it, coming onto your knees, stabilizing your hands. Exhale, inhale. So this is Urdhva Kukutasana, or raised rooster. So this is the first asana. Now the rooster is the emblem for Murugan's flag, but his vahana or his vehicle is the peacock, and especially the peacock with raised feathers. So that is Pincha Mayura asana in Sanskrit, or forearm balance as it's called in English. But again, the English version doesn't do any justice to the whole Sanskrit naming of it. Now Murugan was also supposed to be a playful god. So instead of going straight into an forearm balance or straight into Pincha Mayura, I'll show you a small vinyasa which you can take as a playful vinyasa and then go into it. I won't be able to talk much in this one, so we'll talk after I come out of the pose. So I went into a headstand, I did a few variations, and then from there we went into the scorpion, and from scorpion we went into the Pincha Mayura. So Pincha Mayura is raised feathers. So normally when you look at Murugan or Kartikeya's iconography, it's usually shown with him sitting on a peacock with raised feathers. So that's the significance. So these are the two poses which are dedicated to Lord Murugan or Kartikeya, or he's also got a name called Skanda. So you're familiar with Skanda Asana, and I'll show that to you if you're not. So let's discuss how did Lord Murugan get his names, why the story is associated with him, and what is the history behind these poses. So Murugan was born to basically make sure that he kills 3 asuras, Surapadma, Taraka, and Simhamukha. Now these were 3 brothers, and Surapadma or Surapadman had a boon from Shiva that nobody could kill him unless it was an offspring of Shiva. But it should not be born the normal biological way from Shiva. So at one stage when Shiva was in deep meditation and had taken a vow of celibacy, Surapadma decided that this is the best time for him to conquer the 3 worlds. So he declared war on the Devas, and he started capturing them and imprisoning them. So the remaining Devas went to Shiva and asked for his help. But Shiva, because he knew that if he produced an offspring in the normal manner, it would not be able to defeat Surapadman, he decided to use his psychic powers and gave birth to Murugan. Now Murugan was born with 6 faces, and the reason he was born with 6 faces is because Parvati, Shiva's wife, could not nurse him, so he had 6 nurse mothers. They were sages of they were wives of 6 different sages, and they nursed him. So they were called the Kritikas, and therefore Murugan is also called Kartikeya. Now, as Kartikeya grew up, Shiva then, decided to give him the responsibility of going to war with the 3 brothers. Now, interestingly, like I said, he was born with 6 faces. So one of the other asanas dedicated to him is Shanmukhi. Now, Shanmukhi is done as a mudra, right? You close your eyelids, you close your ear lobes, you then place 2 fingers on top of the lips, so you're closing the lips. So Shan means 6, and Mukh means face. So we have Mukh also means gateway. So we have 6 gateways of perceptions, right? You've got sound, you've got taste, you've got smell, eyesight, touch, and the 6th is the 6th sense. So you shut all of these down, and you actually go into Brahmari breathing. And when you've completely withdrawn into yourself, it's called Shanmukhi Mudra or Brahmari Pranayama, right? So this is also dedicated to Lord Kartikeya because of him being born and being nursed by Kritikas who were 6, and then he developed 6 faces to be able to nurse from 6 mothers. So as he grew up, Shiva made him responsible for going to war with the 3 brothers, and as he declared war on them and tried to enter Mahendrapuri, which was the capital of Surapadman, he realized that his way was blocked by Krancha. Now Krancha was a demon, and he took the form of a mountain. Now you might be familiar with Krancha Asana, and how Krancha Asana is done is that you normally sit in half Virasana or half Vajrasana, hold on to the toe, and then you raise the leg up, right? And so you sort of mimic either Hiron, the bird, or the mountain coming up in front of Kartikeya. So Kartikeya was able to destroy Krancha with one, throw of a spear. So of course, his favorite weapon was the spear, or the javelin, as Neeraj Kumar Chopra uses it now, and it's a little bit more famous these days. So, having defeated Krancha, he entered into Mahendrapuri, and at that time he encountered Taraka, so the first brother. He killed Taraka fairly easily with his spear again, and then Surapadman sent his second brother, Simhamukha. Now Simhamukha, if you realize, I did that asana earlier where you do keep the palms down and you're in Padmasana and you're coming forward. So Simhamukha got his name actually after this battle, because as he went into battle and he got defeated by Kartikeya, just before he was dying, he had the name of goddess Kali on his lips. So Murugan was happy with him and gave him a blessing that he would become the vehicle of goddess Kali. So that's how he got the name Simhamukha, and then he became the Vahana or the vehicle for goddess Kali. So then finally Surapadma had to enter the battlefield, and once he came into battle, he realized that he had no chance of winning from Kartikeya. So he tried various guises, and finally he became a mango tree and entered into the ocean, and he kept enlarging his size, so he was almost going to smother the world. But finally, again, one strike from Kartikeya's spear, and he was split into two. And as he split into two and he was about to die, he again took the Lord's name, Lord Murugan's name, and so Murugan was happy with him, and he gave him Vishwarup Darshan, which was showing him the reality or the divine universal sort of aspect of himself. And as he died, he then asked for a boon, and Murugan gave him a boon that half of his body would become a rooster, and that would become part of his flag, reside as an emblem on his flag, and the second part of him would become a peacock, and that would become his vehicle or his vahana. So Surapadman, who was hugely egotistical, died by the grace of Murugan. And the allegory here is that, you know, the rooster is normally the I assertiveness of ego, and the peacock is known as the vanity side of ego. So both these, you know, can become a very powerful adverse force within you, and the only way to overcome that is through grace. So this is sort of the allegory that you need to keep in mind, especially when doing these poses, because arm balances normally start to give a bit of an ego to the practitioner. You know, you start going progressing into more and more advanced arm balances, and you start getting this what we call spiritual ego, you know, without even realizing it. So you need to sublime that, you need to absorb that through the grace of the Lord, and that is how these asanas have come about. And it's, if you want to go beyond the physicality of these poses, you need to keep this sort of mythology or the origin of the poses in your mind. The interesting thing is that these are actually, you know, we have today, in today's world, we have proof of existence of some of these stories, right? So we have a coin from 200 BC, which was found with Kartikeya embodied on it, with a spear and a rooster. We've also got 6 temples that are dedicated to Murugan in Tamil Nadu. Murugan is most famous as a Tamilian demigod, and the most important one is in Thoothukudi district, where the final battle between Kartikeya and Surapadman happened. So hope you enjoyed the story. Hope that was useful for you, both as a quick tutorial on how to do the pose or what preparatory poses to have for rooster, and then of course to keep a little bit of history behind you so that you are able to go beyond the physicality of the pose. Thank you. I'll see you again soon enough, I'm sure.